Hi, welcome to Cindy Winget Books. I figured the best way to introduce myself to this new BookTube channel is through the Newbie Tag. There's 5 questions, but I'm going to begin with just introducing myself and letting you guys know a little bit about me. My name is Cindy Winget. I'm 36 years old, and I've been married to the love of my life for 15 years now. I have 2 beautiful little girls, an 8-year-old named Daphne and a 4-year-old named Lily. We have 3 pets. The first one is a Shih Tzu named Buster. This is my dog. And then we have a Border Collie named Sammy, and this is my husband's dog. And then we have a cat named Gidget. I read mainly horror and thriller books with some science fiction and romance thrown in there for good measure. So if that sounds interesting, if that's what you like to mainly read, then go ahead and stick around. And I also read mostly physical books. That's my favorite way to read books. I like ebooks because it's convenient sometimes when you're not at home, but at the same time, I buy a lot of them because they're cheaper and then I largely forget about them. I like audiobooks, but I mostly only listen to them on long drives. I know a lot of people will listen to them when they're like doing chores and stuff, but I never think to do that. I always listen to music when I'm cleaning. Okay, let's get started on those questions. Question number 1, why did you start a BookTube channel? So this one is not going to be a groundbreaking answer. It's probably one you've heard before, but I just love books and I love to read them. I love to talk about them. I love to recommend them to my friends and family. Although I don't have very many that do read, and if they do, it's not generally the genre that I'm interested in. I have one friend who reads fantasy romances mostly, and I do like that genre, but I've kind of strayed away from it in recent years. So it's nice to be able to find people online that have similar tastes to me and we can talk about similar books, because just saying, oh, I like to read, and they say, I do too. Oh, what books do you read? And if it's the complete opposite of you, then it's like, well, I don't know how to talk to you anymore. So I'm hoping to find some people online that like the same types of books that I do and we can talk about them. And I was very nervous because talking on camera is awkward for everybody, and I'm hoping over time it will get easier. And as most readers, we tend to be introverts, and it's just a very scary, nerve-wracking thing to know that somebody might watch this video. But I'm also very excited, and I never thought about starting a BookTube channel until my husband kept mentioning that I should, because I started watching BookTube about a year and a half ago, and he's like, you should start your own channel, you should do your own reviews. And I was like, oh no, I can't do that. That's way too scary, you know. I hate the sound of my own voice, and I was like, what if I mumble, or what if I talk too fast because I'm nervous? And so I wouldn't even consider it. But then as time passed, you know, I would watch these videos and I would start to think about, well, what books would I have chosen for this tag or for this video, and what would I say about the book that they were talking about? And I kept getting all these ideas in my head about how I would do it and what I would do, and I don't know, it just seemed so fun. And but then I was just so nervous that I just couldn't get past it. My youngest child is starting preschool this year, and I suddenly realized that I'd have an extra 2.5 hours in my day that I didn't have previously. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe this is the time to finally try it. I have a little bit of extra time. It's something that I've been mulling over in the back of my head for a while. Why not give it a shot? I think the final push that made me do it is in the back of my mind. I kind of was thinking, what if BookTube becomes obsolete and I miss my chance to be part of this great community, and how sad that would be. And I hope that doesn't happen anytime soon, but you never know. And that was kind of my final push to do it, because what if I missed my chance? And I think the community itself had a big thing to do with that, because all the people that I've met online on Bookstagram and on BookTube have been very nice, have been very kind. You always hear about people being mean on the internet and trolls and all these different things, and I'm sure I'm going to get a few trolls here and there, or people that are mean just to be mean, but by and large, I think the BookTube community is a really good group of people, and I haven't seen anything terrible or too scary. And so I was like, you know what? These are really nice, kind people. We're just here to talk about books, and it doesn't matter whether I loved it and they hated it. That's not really the point. The point is just to talk about books, and it's okay if we have different opinions about them. And, it's kind of fun and interesting to know why they liked it when you didn't, or why they hated it when you loved it. It's nice to get a new perspective on a book that you just read. So that was my final push to start this channel, and I'm excited to get going. Question number 2 is, why do you love reading? Well, 2 words. It's fun. Isn't that why anybody loves reading? Because it's fun. But I know there's more to it than that. I know most readers, like I said before, are introverts, and it's nice just to escape into a different world and to not hear about the news and all the bad things that's going on in the world or different stresses that's in your life. It's nice to just escape into somewhere fun. And because I'm an introvert and I am, kind of a nervous mouse sometimes, it's fun to be in the head of a protagonist and pretend that you're brave and that you're outgoing, that you're all these things. Question number 3. What book or book series got you first into reading? I know a lot of people will say Harry Potter, but that is not my answer. I'm pretty sure I came out of the womb reading. I've always loved to read. I can't remember a time when I didn't love to read. Even before I couldn't read, I would look at the pictures and make up my own stories. And I remember one of my favorite toys growing up was a cassette tape, and it came with like a set of Disney books, and it would read you the story, and I would just follow along in these books for hours and hours and over again, and I loved it. And ironically though, I stuck with picture books for quite a long time. It wasn't until like 4th grade that one of my friends was like, why don't you read chapter books? Why don't you go on to the big kid books, And I was like, oh no, that's too scary, I was too intimidated by the length, and there was no pictures and stuff like that. But because I was a little bit embarrassed that my friend was asking me why I was still reading these little kid books, I finally picked up a chapter book and I loved it, and I've never been back since. So some of my favorites would have been like Bunnicula and Babysitter's Club and Sweet Valley High, the Book of Three series, and Into the Land of the Unicorns. Those were some of my favorite titles growing up. Question number 4 is your biggest challenge with BookTube? And that would definitely be talking to the camera, and knowing that somebody might watch it is very nerve-wracking. But also, I'm not technologically savvy at all, and so I didn't know if I'd be able to figure out how to do the editing part of it. But luckily, I have a husband who is tech savvy, and he was able to help me a little bit. And it's just been a little bit frustrating, a little bit challenging, but now that I've learned a lot, I'm excited to continue. Question number 5 is, what makes you most excited about BookTube? All of it. I'm excited to finally get to all of my ideas. Most of them aren't new or groundbreaking, that haven't been done before on other BookTube channels, but I'm excited to put my spin on them, or different books that I've chosen and what my thoughts and opinions on them are. And I'm just excited for all of it. I love book hauls, I love book vlogs, I love book recommendations, I love it all, and I can't wait to share it all with you guys. Those are all the questions, and I just wanted to end this newbie tag by letting you guys know that I am also an author, and I've written 6 different books, and I think it might be a good way to get to know me, to introduce these books to you. I already recorded this video a while ago as I had a minute, and so I'm just going to insert it here. In addition to loving all things bookish, I love to buy books and review books and read books and all that fun stuff. I'm actually also an author. I've written 6 books so far. My debut was called Cavalcade, and this is part of a trilogy. It's a YA fantasy, and this is about a young girl who is babysitting her brother one night, and she's visited by a wizard who whisks her away to a magical land named Cavalcade, and she needs to save this magical place from an evil enchantress, and she meets a lot of fun and colorful characters along the way. And then after that, I got more into writing horror. So I've written 3 gothic horror mashups. So this is the first one, but they can be read in any order. This is called Dracula Ascending, and this is a mashup between Dracula and Frankenstein. Basically, these were meant to be what would the story have been like if they had been one and the same story. So in this case, Dracula and Frankenstein's monster are one and the same person. And then I don't have a physical copy of it, but the second one I wrote is called Fall of the House of Crane. And as you can probably tell from the title, this is a mashup between select stories of Edgar Allan Poe and The Haunting of Hill House. And then the third one I wrote is The Strange Case of Dorian Gray. And this is a mashup between The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and then The Picture of Dorian Gray. Sorry, these covers are so glossy. They're hard to not have a big glare on it. But there's going to be 6 in this series. I might take a break and write some other stuff first, but I am planning to have 6 altogether. If you're interested in learning more about it, you can go check it out on Amazon. You can just type in my name and it should come up with everything that I've written. Well, that's all I have for you guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did and you want to find more content, I will have it linked. I have 3 other videos out if you want to check them out. See ya!